So a car hit me in speed, and I'm very lucky because he caught me on the side, so my top ripped off and I wasn't dragged on the road. When I mentioned this to my previous instructor, she said, I wonder if you've got problem in your head, if you hit your head and you don't remember and it's something, some of my brain cells maybe have died or something.
You mentioned anxiety quite a lot.
It's because I think it was, I focused solely on that because that was I've always knew I'm anxious, like I said, I've always been afraid of things, so I feel the fear and still do it.
And what do you think is probably a good time, obviously, rather than at the end of the video, for the viewers to get to know you a little bit more
With the accident.
and where you're actually coming from, because it is quite a storied history. Tell us a little bit about maybe why you feel these feelings towards driving and operating and controlling a car.
So where I'm originally from Bulgaria, and where I used to live there, apartments is that side, a motorway and a school. And I was quite young, and you don't have respect for cars, so we have the habit to just run across that very quickly, and it was a little bit of a bend where the school is. Now I know because I'm learning to drive. So a car hit me in speed, and I'm very lucky because he caught me on the side, so my top ripped off and I wasn't dragged on the road. Didn't hit my head at all. When I mentioned this to my previous instructor, she said, the first thing she said after I've shared the story was, I wonder if you've got problem in your head, if you hit your head and you don't remember and it's something, some of my brain cells maybe have died or something. But yeah, it was just the fear. I was fine, and I said, don't take me to hospital. People wanted to take me to hospital just in case. I thought my mom would kill me. A year later.
How old were you?
I think 7 or 8, because we moved out when I was 10.
That must have been so scary.
Not at the time, but
No.
I think I remember later on, I remembered it. And then my best friend got hit a year later. She got properly hit, and it's a miracle she survived. She went into hospital, I think, for a month. She had a big wound on her back, but she survived.
Place?
A bit further down.
Same road?
Same road, but
Wow.
we were just having it as an adventure. You just run as quick as you can. But she made a full recovery, and the beauty of the story is the driver was a foreign driver, can't remember, from Italy or elsewhere, I really don't remember. And her mum and him got together. So
Oh wow!
it was meant to be. It's interesting. For me, this is why
it's really strange. And anybody who looks into numbers and the values behind numbers and stuff, your birthday is 11/11 as well, which is quite unique.
Well, I've got what gives me strength to face my fears is, maybe it's not relevant to the video, but I'm going to mention it anyway. My mum didn't want to have a second child because she wasn't that rich, and I wasn't planned, so I was a surprise. And she was going to do abortion if it was allowed, but it wasn't. So she's done everything people suggest, drinking pills and alcohol, doing this, doing the other. But I've decided I'm going to get born. And I don't know whether you call it premature when you just 2 kilos, 500 grams, I don't know what you call it in here.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I was on borderline to be okay. They wanted to keep me in the hospital, and I stayed there for a week, and my mum couldn't afford anymore. And she said, then you wouldn't bloody put on weight. There was no movement, so they wouldn't want to get me off the hospital, so she cheated and put some metal things with the scale, with the way, don't know how they measure babies, how you can get away with it, but they've helped her. And off I go. And I thought, if I got born against all odds, then I would not die in a car accident.
Yeah.
I nearly drowned in the second biggest river as well. I got taken by the water. I don't know how you call it when the water is very powerful.
It's a strong current, and it can sweep you away, can't it?
Yeah, it took me, and it was no one there. We skipped school, as we did often, because we didn't like school. And I was playing with the dog, and I remembered water came to here, and I said, I'm coming back. And all of a sudden, I felt the sand from underneath my feet disappeared, and off I go, and I can't swim. And I've been fighting for a good 7 minutes. I drank some water. I was just doing this.
I didn't even know this one.
Someone spotted me from up the road, stopped the car, thanks God, and he said that was the worst water encounter I've had. He can swim, and he struggled. It was really powerful, and off I go. Wow. And my sister was screaming from a side, get out or I'll kill you. Because my mum would tell her off, so I said, if I can get out, I will. Later on, it's a funny story for us. So I think that's why I'm afraid of everything. I've had quite a bit of, I can see how things can go wrong. I don't like adrenaline. Never go in the water now, I won't go in a river.
And it makes sense as to why you've got to get your driving right, because you actually have a responsibility for other people around you then as well, don't you?
And I always think the worst, which is not very good, but I always think, what if, and it's the worst scenarios because I've experienced enough of them. The second thing with the car I've had, which was worse than being hit by a car, is my friend had something to drink, 15 or 14 years old I think we were, and we went into a field. And we
you got into a car, yeah? So he was driving. Yeah.
Someone else was driving, and then she said, "Can I have a go?" And you know, everyone was drunk at the time. I know it's not very nice, 14 or 15, but we were drunk. And they let her drive, and I remember only hearing him guiding her with gears and said, "So put it here." So that would have been first gear. I think she went into second, I'm not sure. And because she wants to impress everyone, she just went on the gas full swing, I think, and we rode 5 times. And it was a very not powerful engine car, it was a small car.
But if you put your foot down in low gear, before you know it, you're going to be doing 20 odd, you know. And
no, she's gone really fast. I'm sure. We didn't roll straight away. She got into speed, and then we rolled in speed. When it was fast, and the car went to scrap. It was that bad. No one got injured. Don't know how.
Looks like you've got somebody looking over you.
Yeah. And then in London, this is something I don't consider really serious, but my friend had a small car. I think it's called Polo. I no longer see them.
Volkswagen Polo.
It's a really tiny one.
Yeah.
So she stopped
They're
at
a bit
the
bigger
traffic
now, that's
light.
probably why.
Oh, I don't recognise them. I don't know enough about cars, but what I've learned, I'm sure it's correct. So she stopped at the traffic lights, and this Range Rover drove straight into her, failed to stop, and we got pushed. Luckily, she had the handbrake, but that doesn't scare me too much.
So you got rear-ended and actually pushed.
So I can see how, that's why I'm so intense, because to me, 1 second looking at the wrong direction, it means you could get things wrong enough. So you could see why I'm not surprised to be anxious. I've always knew I would need more lessons. I'm not afraid to go in a car, but I have more respect for the car than other people who haven't experienced will.